now that Diddy has been acquitted of the most serious charges, the question looms, is his career still over? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into some of this straight game.
Blackjack. Life is like cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy Delray Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Like I always say, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and click on what appears to be the little bell notification right below this video, ladies and gentlemen. Before the trial started, and while the trial was going on, all of the information that we were getting, all of the intimate details into Sean P. Diddy Combs' life, his sex life, and what he liked, and what the things that turned him on, and all of these other things. Some people call it weird. Some people called it sad. Some people called it none of their business. You know, you had various opinions, but one thing was people were saying in unison, if you will. They were basically saying that Sean P. Diddy Combs' career is over. Diddy is done, right? And the question that looms now is that now Diddy has been acquitted of the major charges. Is his career still over, and do people still feel that way about his career being over after everything that's happened, and he's only been convicted of the two lessers? Like I said, Straight Game TV, where hip hop culture collides with the truth. No cap, you know, no lies, no games, just the truth of the matter. And like I said, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Delray Richardson. We're gonna dive deep into this. This is one of the, like I said, one of the most explosive stories of 2025, the Diddy trial. And like I said, we know Diddy's an icon in the music industry. He's done a lot of entrepreneurial things. Ciroc, they said he has real estate holdings and all of these other things that he's delved into, the Revolt TV and helping produce films, done a little acting. But predominantly he's made his money in the music industry, as well as dealing in liquor and things like that. So Sean John Clothing and a few other ventures. But the question is, can Diddy bounce back after all of what we've heard and all of what has went down so far? The Cassie tape, from the Intercontinental Hotel. Can Diddy redeem himself back to where he, I wouldn't say once was, because I don't think that'll ever happen. But like I said, people soon forget with the social media, the short attention span dealing with social media. It's like one thing happens this week and something happened the next week, and then we kind of forget all about, what happened a couple of weeks ago. And so, or should I say, will the media, because like I said, in building any kind of stardom, business, brand, or anything like that, it has a lot to do with marketing and promotion, right? Will the media allow Diddy to rebuild himself? That's an even bigger question, right? We know the federal sex trafficking trial, Sean P. Diddy Combs, after 8 weeks, over 30 witnesses, and an emotional testimony, and sometimes shocking testimony. Like I said, the verdict, we know major charges gone. Two convictions of the Mann Act. And so the question looms now. Number one, how much time will Diddy get? We don't know. We will find out on October 3rd. We know that Diddy's enrolled in some programs in the involving the federal system. I think domestic violence, also sex therapy and things of that nature. Like I said, there were some pretty shocking things that we had heard in regards to, his sex life. I didn't think it was necessary, but I guess the prosecution did, and they did what they did, and they didn't get the outcome that they wanted, so much so that Maureen Comey was fired from the prosecution team. And once again, that's another factor in the sentencing aspect of this as to how much time will the new prosecutors ask for now that Maureen Comey has been fired, and with the a thought possibly looming and they might be fired if they try to come down too hard on Diddy from that perspective, right? Like I said, we know that according to eyewitnesses in the court, Diddy was emotional. Will the judge take all of these things into consideration, during his sentencing? But like I said, the fallout after the sentencing, right? Diddy remains behind bars. Like I said, he was denied bail, all of those things. We know that at least when Maureen Comey was still on the case, they wanted 51 to 63 months. We don't know now how that's going to play out because you have Pam Bondi, who is the head of the Justice Department. And so will they be now, the prosecutors that are now under the case, will they be afraid to really go after Diddy from that perspective? That's one of the things that remains truly, honestly, the thing to see coming October 3rd. So, in the public reaction, like I said, outside the courtroom at that particular time, it was chaos. There was outrage. Others celebrated. Bottles of baby oil were passed around mockingly. A haunting callback to the testimony of Cassie, and others who described freak offs involving forced sex acts and abuse, right? Which I must say that Diddy was not convicted of. On social media, the backlash was fierce. You had people like Aubrey O'Day coming out basically saying this made me physically ill, even though she didn't testify in the case. I don't know how it made her ill from any kind of perspective, but it did. That's what she said. Mariska Hargitay was on, what's that, New York NBC, the cop show. Basically said Combs joins a long line of powerful men who face minimal consequences. Mariska said. She said that Diddy faced minimal consequences. Like I said, you have it was a lot of bias, man, in this situation. And like I said, people have a right. Mariska Hargitay can basically say what she wants to say, and she can feel that way, But like I said, singer Kesha said plainly, Cassie, I believe you. And so once again, I don't think anybody didn't believe Cassie from that perspective. But the question loomed after the testimony was, did they feel like Cassie was a victim or also a co-defendant or also a participant in this situation? And that was the main question. And I think the jury kind of came to their conclusion based on Cassie's own testimony, as well as Jane, a.k.a. Daphne Joy's testimony, right? So like I said, but inside MDC Brooklyn, like I said, Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's attorney, said they gave him a standing ovation. Basically, the fact that he had beat the feds. Nobody had done that before. Like I said, they had 6 lawyers. Diddy had 8. And, he went up against them. And he was convicted of 2 lessons. But, Mark Agnifilo and his defense team said that was actually a win, for the fact that Diddy wouldn't be facing any kind of severe sentence, if you will. So, but more importantly, the industry question is now that he got convicted of the 2 lessons, and how people saw things at that particular time, can Diddy make a comeback? Or basically is his career over despite being convicted, being a convicted felon now, That's worked for a lot of people's career. Like I'd say Tupac, he made a comeback after being accused of something similar, but basically convicted of a lesser, if you will. Despite being a convicted felon, Diddy still owns a significant stake in the music business, including legendary Bad Boy catalog, if you will. So, like I said, you had professors, one by the name of Melvin Villavia from Clemson. He basically said that Diddy's business side may survive, even if his public image doesn't. Like I said, because most people don't know what kind of strategic investments Diddy has, other than what they see, in the public. Oh yeah, he's selling Ciroc. Oh, he's selling this. Oh, the Bad Boy catalog, in which we know, right? Like I said, and he can go from the mogul that we used to know to being reclusive, if you will, pulling the strings from behind the scene without ever returning to the face of his empire. Will that work? Like I said, I think that would work more than anything, because I think people, mainly women, who felt like he got off, like Mariska Hargitay, that he got off, they can, and anything his name is associated with, they can refuse to support it. It's just as simple as that. And so even with that being said, will he, come back out, as Diddy, I run the city, or, you know what I mean? Diddy, I'm in the suburbs and I'm chilling and, I'm living my life and raising my kids and raising my grandkids and all of those things. It remains to be seen. So chime in and tell me what you guys think. Do you think that Diddy will, or can he possibly make a comeback? Another thing, I don't think that the music, like with the album, the Love album, it really didn't do well. You know what I mean? I think when Biggie was alive, people wanted to hear. It was much more, they were much more readily and available to hear what Diddy was doing. But ever since kind of Biggie's been gone, and, the Bad Boy for Life thing and all of that, I don't think people really are ready to hear anything that he has to say at this particular time musically. So that part, like I said, is I think is possibly gone. But like I said, you just never know. You never know. Like, we've seen stranger things, right? And so, like I said, so is this the beginning of the end for Diddy, ladies and gentlemen? Chime in and let me know what you guys think. Or just another chapter in a very dark legacy. You know what I mean? Like I said, so I think that's very important. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. So let us know what you think. Drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and follow us at Straight Game TV. You're very much appreciated, like I said, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for your support over these past few months. Subscribe to the channel. And like I said, your boy Delray, Straight Game.
Life is like cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.